Red bone on the couch and they both mahogany brown. Gap is so big it can see my house. Then again, my view is too stupid, bruh, for real. Don't forget to read about who really do this, bruh, for real.
In between the cities of Dallas and Fort Worth, it's Arlington, Texas, host to the grand mecca of football, AT&T Stadium, the home of the Cowboys. Straight ahead, we've got a good one on tap. It's the Indianapolis Colts and the Dallas Cowboys. Thanks for having us in, Mike Tirico, along with Greg Olson. And off we go from Arlington. Cavante Turpin on the return. Nice job on the return. He's down close to the 35-yard line.
The Cowboys take over first and 10 at their own 34-yard line.
On the ground, here's the first-round pick from April's draft. And he works past the 40, taken down after a gain of 7.
The 41, a 7-yard pickup, brings up second and 3.
From the 41, here's second and 3.
Yeah, here we go! 26.
Operating from the gun, here's Dak. He'll be hit as he throws this time, and it's going to fall incomplete. They might be fortunate just to avoid the sack, and it'll set up a third down.
They got there in a hurry, didn't they, Mike? I mean, luckily for him, he saw that free rusher coming, and at the very least was able to get that ball out to prevent the sack.
Third down and 3.
Yeah, here we go! 40. 26.
Now they'll pitch it out here. Trying to bounce that one outside, but only to be able to get back to the original line of scrimmage.
So it's a pretty manageable third down, so they really have the option to run or pass, so they decide to keep the ball on the ground, which I don't mind as long as you've made the decision already that you're willing to use fourth down to pick up the rest of the yards. If not, I think that's a big mistake.
That is fielded at the 13. And he'll get something there on the return, able to take this back to the 20-yard line.
Ready up! Ready, go!
Off the play fake, it's Richardson. That ball flutters to the ground. It's incomplete. Fortunate there wasn't a defender right there in the area. Could have been a turnover. Instead, it brings up second down.
I think he knew in the back of his head, Mike, he had to get rid of this ball a little sooner than he would have liked. And with that pressure getting there in a hurry, it just ends up being a wasted down.
Second and 10.
Let's go now!
A run with the man out of Purdue. That's Tyrone Tracy. And he's going to be marked down up around the 33. Call it a gain of 13. That's good for a Colts first down.
Really nice explosive play there on the ground. And I'll tell you what, for these fans sitting in the stadium, they're not used to seeing their home team pushed around. So continue to be physical at the line of scrimmage. Mix in the runs with the pass. And if they can continue to...
Oh, they're on him in a flash, and he lost the football. It's picked up by one of his teammates.
And they should consider themselves lucky. You can't let a pass rusher through that quickly and not expect there to be consequences. Fortunately, they're at least able to fall on it and prevent this from being a complete disaster.
Work to do now as they come up on 2nd and long.
Come on, set. Cowboy 80. 19 tight, 19 tight. 18, Pioneer. Let go.
Out of the shotgun, Richardson. He's got a man. That's Josh Downs. And he's going to be dropped after a pickup of about 5.
All right, so anytime you're facing the blitz, the best thing you can do as an offense is just get the ball out of your hand. Get into the hands of receiver, run after catch. In this case, nice job by the defense, rallying to the ball. Modest gain.
Not fun here. 3rd and a lot.
Got me Razor. Purple 80.
From the gun, Richardson. And that is incomplete.
Remember what they told us, Mike, leading up to this game. They said it is so critical for us to find success, especially on 3rd down. We want to maintain possession, extend these drives. Well, the first crack comes up and they fail through the air, and we're going to have to regroup and be able to have better success throughout the remainder of this game.
And he's not going to get anything out of this one. They force him laterally out of bounds. No gain on the return.
At their own 42-yard line.
On play action, here's Dak. Moving to his left. Oh, a dangerous throw there is intercepted.
Let's go. 60 Bison, 60 Bison.
On the ground, here's Tracy. His defense all over this one. They get him down behind the line. It's a loss of a couple.
Well, they try to get the run game started here early on this drive, Mike, and they're just going to have to do a better job up front. There's really nowhere for this ball carrier to go. You never want to lose yards on 1st down, but that's exactly the case here.
Last play went the wrong way. It sets up 2nd and long. It's 2nd down and 12.
Ready.
Looking to throw. Richardson. Looking middle, and he's got Downs. And they'll get about 8 out of that one, but still a little work to do now on 3rd down.
3rd and 4.
Ready. 7 Pirates, 7.
Now Richardson. That's over the middle and taken in. He's got it. And the defense can't come up with a stop there. Gain of 7 and a 1st down.
He's in a really nice rhythm here on 3rd down. He appears very comfortable operating out of the gun, and he's able to find his man near the sideline, and he's able to extend this drive.
The ball comes out. And the Cowboys are going to come away with the football.
And with all this talk about ball security, I can tell you firsthand, Mike, a lot of it just becomes mental. It's like the more you think about it, the more you stress it in practice, it almost gets worse. It's One of those things that when it starts to spiral, it's just hard to pull yourself out.
He'll step up and run this. He'll take this forward for about 5.
And these are body blows on any defense. This quarterback has the ability to make guys miss and do a lot of damage in the run game. And that's a nice pickup there.
They'll come up here on 2nd down and 5.
Yeah, here we go. I take one. Gun.
Now a give up the middle, and he'll get about 4 out of that one. That should be enough to move the chains. It is 1st down.
It just seems like every time this guy touches the ball, he makes something happen. And not all of his runs are always going to be positive. He's kind of one of those guys that's going to get a 0, a 1, a 2. But it's the home run threat. It's the big plays that really tip the scales in your favor. And when you can generate those big explosive plays on the ground, man, it makes such a big difference for the offense.
They'll stay on the ground. And he'll get nothing here. Back to the line of scrimmage, and that's all.
The best linebackers at this level, Mike, they have all the physical attributes. That's a given. But it's really their instincts. It's their ability to dissect and predetermine where the ball is going before the ball is even snapped. And you could see with how fast he met the back at the point of attack, he knew exactly what play was coming.
So a turnover-filled first quarter has come to an end. What will the second quarter have in store? We're back to Arlington in a moment. They'll try again. It's 2nd and 10. Pistol now for Prescott. Just trying to avoid the rush there. He's hit as he threw when the pass is incomplete.
They just desperately need to get something positive going here, Mike. It just feels like they're a play away from really jump-starting everything they've talked about being good at throughout the course of the week's prep. And it's really been the inability to sustain drive. So critical 3rd downs, better on 1st and 2nd. Somewhere it's got to pop, and somebody's got to make a play.
On 3rd down, Prescott. He's got his man. It's Pickens. And he'll be taken down up past the 40-yard line. That's his first reception of the ballgame, and it really comes at a good time as they get the conversion on 3rd down. So, a couple of 1st downs will give them 1st and 10. They're at the 41.
Here we go.
Dak going to push this one forward. He is belted in the backfield. What a shot he took. It's going to be a loss of yardage. What a play.
Brings up 2nd and 12 at the 39-yard line.
Here's a 2nd and 12. On the play fake, Dak headed left, buying time. Now he'll run. Can't beat those legs. 13-yard pickup. A scramble leads to a 1st down.
You know, Mike, I like everything about this play except the very end. You've already picked up good yardage. You've already picked up the 1st down. Now get down on the ground and protect yourself. There's no reason to take those shots.
On 1st and 10, Prescott. He'll find his tight end. That's Jake Ferguson. And they'll take this down inside the 35. First catch for him on the afternoon, and it results in a 1st down.
1st and 10 at the 32-yard line.
53.
From the shotgun, it's Dak. That's into the hands of Jaden Blue. He's going to be marked down at the 12-yard line. They get an even 20 on that one. First down, Cowboys.
I just love the creativity and what it allows when you have the skill set of a running back like this, that he can line up all over the field. In this last play, Mike, you see him line up in the slot, but he's really capable of running routes from all the different receiver positions, and for a running back to be able to do that, that is a huge weapon.
And he will win the race to the pylon. He's in. C.D. Lamb. Touchdown, Cowboys. His first touchdown of the new campaign.
Just a great way to finish off a drive, and it was something they thought they had a matchup advantage all week long, was in the ground game. And you can see here, they executed at the offensive line. He got some nice blocks downfield from his wide receivers and tight ends, and he was able to do the rest.
Not going for two, they'll kick the point after. He knocks it through. Cowboys will take a 7-0 lead. The kickoff team is out on the field, and we're back to it as the kick's away. From the 6, here comes a return. And it'll be brought down past the 25. Decent field position to start this drive.
Ready? With 1918, go!
They'll run, and for the first time, it's Jonathan Brooks. He is met and dropped. A couple of yards behind the line of scrimmage, too.
I can promise you that is not how they wanted to start this drive, Mike. I mean, to get blown up at the point of attack, there was just nowhere for the back to go on that run.
Nothing. Ready? Cowboy 80. 19 right. Ready?
Throwing on second down, Richardson moving to his right. He'll get rid of it and complete it. And it'll be taken down after a gain of 9, and third down coming up.
The defender has to do a better job here, Mike, of getting depth. He wants to elevate that ball to give his secondary defender a chance to make a play. He gets too much width, not enough depth, and a quarterback like this is going to take advantage.
Hot 70. Hot 70.
From the gun on third down, Richardson. And he's down inside the 40-yard line. They get the conversion on third down. It was a gain of 27.
No, Mike, I really like this game plan, right? The strategy on third and short so often is, okay, just get enough for the first down. If you decide to air it out, everything short, get a fresh set of downs. They're saying the defense is going to pack it in close. They're protecting the sticks. So let's just throw it over their head and try to go for a big play.
Get it. Bronco 80. Get it.
On first down, it's Richardson. He's going to take a shot. Sends it down the middle. And he's in. Touchdown, Indianapolis. That his second TD catch of the season. And that is touchdown number 1 in the National Football League career of a guy, Greg, taken high in the draft, hoping for moments like that.
When you get drafted in the first round, Mike, let alone as a wide receiver, the expectation in the NFL today is that you need to come in and be an immediate impact player. Plays like this continue to build that relationship with the quarterback, and I think this guy's got a real bright future.
That ties the game at 7.
We're all tied, 7 apiece, and the kick's away. This just makes it to the landing zone. It's taken at the 18. And they'll be set up well as he is past the 35-yard line.
At their own 36-yard line.
First and 10 now from the 36.
Yeah! Here we go! All right, in!
They'll begin here on the ground. And he'll be taken down as we tick down to the 2-minute warning.
It's a pickup of 3. Brings up second and 7.
2 minutes to play. First half, all tied at 7. Greg and I, back to Arlington at AT&T Stadium after this. Second and 7.
Yeah! Here we go! All right, in! What do you think?
They'll stick with him again. And he'll get maybe about 4 yards out of that one. Lane closed quickly. Here comes third down.
And while that run wasn't anything really to write home about, what it allows them to do, Mike, is keep everything in the playbook at their disposal. Third and short, now it's up to these coaches to dial up their best short yardage play and extend this drive.
Oh, there's movement up front. That's going to make this third down a lot tougher. So after the 5 yards walked off, it is third down and 8. Oh, now flags come in. Looks like movement up front. And third down just became a lot tougher. So after the 5 yards are walked off, they face third and long. Here's a designed run. Great job with his legs. On the move for 15 and moving the chains with a first down.
I like that call on third down, keeping the ball on the ground. You see so often these defenses, Mike, on third down, they bring out more defensive backs. They bring out some smaller bodies. They're anticipating third down pass. There's a lot of opportunities to take advantage of it with third down run.
Yeah! Here we go! All right, in!
Dak going to throw it here on first down. Over the middle to his tight end, Ferguson. And they'll move this one down inside the 40-yard line. Nice chunk here in this good-looking drive. Pickup of 14 and a first down.
At the 38-yard line.
Here's a little pop pass heading to the right. And they bring him down, but not until they get inside the 30-yard line. And now the Cowboys going to take a timeout. They stop it here with just under 40 seconds until halftime. set of downs to work with. It is first down and 10.
Yeah! There we go! Boy, nice.
Play fake. Prescott on the move left. Now he takes off.
Initially, Mike, a really good job by the defense. Nowhere to go with the ball for this quarterback. He's forced to pull it down and turn into a runner. A little slow reaction, and he's able to actually pick up a pretty good game.
Here's 2nd and 2.
Here we go. Boy, nice. Wait, take.
A handoff as they try to run it here. And he'll get it down to the 12. And that'll give him a new set of downs from in close.
This is a situation that play callers love to be in, Mike. They have all their options on the table. 2nd and short, play action pass. You can run. In this case, they choose to keep it on the ground, play it safe, pick up the first down.
Cowboys going to use their 3rd and final timeout. And they'll get a chance to talk things over after picking up that first down. Kicking time, the field goal unit out for the Cowboys. Officially, a 29-yard attempt. His kick is perfect. And the Cowboys will break our tie and take a 10-7 lead.
Good snap, good hold, really good operation by the specialist. Gives this offense the lead right before the halftime break. Now the question will be, can they build on this as they try to close this game out as we look forward to the second half?
And no chance to return this one. Through the end zone for a touchdown. From the 35, it's 1st and 10.
18,
Richardson to throw. He'll take a deep shot for downs. That's going to be incomplete. They took a shot on the final play. Prayer not answered. And that is how this first half will come to an end. Three points, all that separates these two sides, as half number 2 kicks off. Now return coming from the 7. And he is stopped at the 25. The drive will begin then. Richardson to throw here on 1st and 10. That is knocked away. Incomplete. Good coverage there defensively. All over him. And it'll be 2nd down.
And at this stage of the game, it's both teams that are really seeing who can make the big play to swing the game in their favor. And this time, it's the defense. He's able to get his hands on it. Mike, I think they're lucky he wasn't able to get both hands on it because it could have been even a bigger play.
Past the 60, past the 60.
A 2nd down throw for Richardson. He'll take a deep shot for downs. And that is hauled in on the right sideline. Right inside the chop. A heck of a catch. A big play and a much-needed one as well. It's a gain of 34. They'll come up here 1st and 10.
Ready? 18 Cardinal, 18 Cardinal. Warrior 70.
Throwing is Richardson. Hit as he threw it. The pass is incomplete.
This is why it's so critical that the quarterback and his intended target are on the same page. They got to speak the same language. When there's miscommunication, it leads to errant throws, and when errant throws lead to big missed opportunities.
Cowboy 80.
A run with the former K-State product, DJ Giddens. And the defense there to meet him. They'll hold them to 2 and bring up third down.
Got it. Ready? Here we go. 19 Lions. Ready, ready.
Richardson gonna look to throw. And that is incomplete. Contact, but no flags. Gonna be fourth down.
It's just so hard to be a good offense in the NFL, Mike, when you are not good on third down. Your inability to extend drives, it either puts a lot of pressure on your coaches to be aggressive on fourth down or simply punt or take a field goal. You have to maintain possession and give you more cracks to score touchdowns. So touchdowns are always the primary goal of every drive. But when you find yourself down 3 here in the second half, you've just got to find a way to tie the game up. And they were able to do that here.
A return coming from the 14. And he'll be brought down just beyond the 25-yard line.
At their own 27-yard line.
Yeah, here we go. I think. What do you think?
The RPO, that one is complete. And he won't get away. Good open field tackle there to get him down behind the line.
Second and 11.
Man, what a big-time play here by the corner. It feels like he knew that play was coming before the ball was even snapped. You can see he sticks his foot in the ground and bursts. He ends that play before it even has a chance to get started.
All right, here we go. Go to 54. Go to 54. What?
Now a second down throw for Prescott. Open man down the field is Turpin. And he's going to be brought down up past the 45. They get 20 on the connection. That's good for a Dallas first down.
Here we go. 26.
Thrown back in the backfield. He'll get the carry here. And he'll push his way ahead for a gain of 2. JT Tuimoloau there on the tackle.
Brings up second and 8.
From a couple of yards shy of midfield, here's second and 8.
Yeah, here we go. Right there. Here we go, 47.
Operating from the gun, here's Dak. This one is caught by Turpin. And he's out of bounds in great shape, down at the 15-yard line. A huge play for Dallas, 36 yards.
If you want to score points at a high level in the NFL, you have to generate explosive plays. And after that big chunk pass play, they find themselves now down there in the red zone, and this is where you have to finish drives.
Yeah, here we go. Right there.
They'll turn and hand this one off. He'll struggle to get back to the line of scrimmage. Maybe gets a yard out of that one. It's second down.
2 yards on the pickup. It's second and 8.
Yeah! Here we go. Line 80.
Play action now. Prescott push down to his left. Off he goes.
And that was really well defended along the back end, Mike. And with nobody open downfield, he's got no choice but to turn into a runner. They end up rallying to the ball, and they limit to a minimal gain.
They go 5 receivers for third down and 4.
Yeah! Here we go. Line 80.
Now this looks like a design run, and this defense holding their ground. They'll stop him for no gain. Fourth down, straight ahead.
The reason teams love calling the quarterback's number on design quarterback runs, Mike, is because in the blocking scheme, you gain 1 additional blocker. It didn't matter here. The defense was ready for it, and they're able to bring the quarterback down for a loss.
Looks like we have an injured Colt on that play. As the athletic training staff looks at him, we'll step away for a moment.
Job number 1 on this drive, find a way to get the lead. They, of course, would have loved to score a touchdown, Mike, but 3 points here, that's a pretty good consolation prize as it moves them out in front.
Both teams ready to go once more as the kick's away. He fields it at the 8. He'll work his way across the 25-yard line.
26-yard line.
On first and 10, here's Richardson. Got a man. Good job coming back for the ball on the completion. He's got a touchdown on the books from earlier, and that catch gets him a first down.
We've now seen this quarterback show that he can beat you from both inside and now outside of the pocket. The ability to use his legs to flush out and buy time for his receivers. They uncover downfield, leads to a big pickup.
Here's a handoff to Giddens. He'll try to push forward. He'll wind up getting 3 yards with that one. Donovan Ezaraku there to make the play.
4 yards on the pickup. Second and 6 at the 46-yard line.
From the 46, here's second and 6. Out of shotgun, Richardson. He bought as much time as he could, but he will finally be taken down. Marish Leofau. What a first month he is putting together. That's his 4th sack already.
Third and 8.
They need 8 as they come up for third down. From the gun, Richardson. Here's a deep shot for Pierce. And his offense is going to be all set up with a short field and a chance to extend their lead.
It's not often, Mike, that everything breaks right for this type of return off of an interception. But boy, is it beautiful when it does. I mean, look at the defenders just flip around and become blockers, trying to spring their guy to the house. Great athleticism, some great moves on his part. I mean, he's going to have some of his offensive teammates looking over their shoulder for their position.
Yeah, here we go. Line 80.
Handoff here, up the middle, and Now trying to get back to the line, but it's not happening. Gonna lose a yard.
It's a loss of a yard. Brings up second and
So these teams trade field goals in the third as we come to the end of the quarter. You're watching the NFL on EA Sports. Lost one on the last play, so now it's 2nd and 11.
Here we go, here we go. Sliding.
Now Prescott. He's got a man. It's CeeDee Lamb. And he'll be very close to a first down. Won't quite have enough, but now a much more advantageous spot.
Think of all the guys that we came in today thinking that this defense could control. This is probably the last guy we would have thought. I mean, but give this defense a lot of credit. They had a plan to take away one of the best options, and they've certainly executed it to perfection.
And he will have a Cowboys first down, maybe by about a yard, as they find a way to convert on 3rd and inches.
I don't want to take anything away from the quarterback here, Mike. He did a nice job picking up that first down. But this play is won or lost by the big guys up front. They're the ones who need to get off the snap on time, get leverage on the defender, and create the space needed for the quarterback to pick up the first down.
Here we go, 47. 26.
First down, Prescott. He's got that complete to Turpin. And that keeps him ahead of schedule. That's a first down completion of 7 yards.
It takes a certain guy in that slot position to be willing and able to go across the middle of the defense on those in-breaking routes. You can tell this guy, he doesn't care. He is fearless going across the middle, and he's able to secure a nice catch.
From the 20, here's 2nd down and 2.
Hey, here we go. Sliding. Play. 26.
Here's a toss as they look to run, and he is stopped in his tracks. Loss of a couple on the play.
You know, at this point, the defense has to sell out and stop the run. You know exactly what the offense is trying to get accomplished by keeping the ball on the ground. But now the question remains, are they willing to take some risk here and put the ball in the air on 3rd down, or do they play it safe and keep running the clock by keeping the ball on the ground?
And on 3rd down, that ball incomplete.
And this game almost just flipped completely on his head. You find yourself with a lead, just trying to milk the clock away in the 4th quarter, and that's a gift. And that defender just flat out drops the ball, and if he's able to secure that takeaway, this game looks very different for this offense. And this is what you want. I mean, you clearly have the advantage, but you want to continue to apply pressure. Can you score every time you get the ball? They're able to do that here. They tack on 3 and extend their lead.
This returnable from the 4. And a solid run back there. He'll get this out past the 30-yard line. Looks like we have an injured Colt on that play. So as they look at the injured player, we'll take a timeout. Richardson to throw it here on 1st down. That one into the hands of Downs. And that keeps him ahead of schedule. That's a first down completion of 7 yards.
It's a gain of 7. Brings up 2nd and 3 at the 39-yard line.
Ball on the 39. Here's 2nd and 3.
79 Grosso. Pat the 60. Pat the 60. Steady, right?
To throw, it's Richardson.
And the defender does such a good job, Mike, not only putting himself in position to make the play, but how often do we see guys that are there, and they just can't quite make it. In this case, he's there, knocks the ball down. Really nice play.
Open man, left side. He's got it. Pickup of 11 yards on that one. First down, Indianapolis.
That's good.
And this is a tricky part of the game for any defense. You find yourself protecting a late lead, and the age-old question is, do you remain aggressive? Do you try to just keep the ball from being thrown over your head and make everything be tackled and played in front of you? That's what every defensive coordinator struggles with, so they can't get too soft here as they...
And he will score. Alec Pierce. Touchdown, Indy. The game-tying touchdown here in the fourth quarter, and a chance to take the lead with the point after.
Mike, the sideline's going crazy with that late score. But they still need this extra point to take the lead here and see if they can hang on to this fourth quarter lead.
16.
So now playing with the lead after that fourth quarter touchdown. Time to kick it back the other way. And he will not attempt to return, so this will come out now to the 35-yard line.
First and 10 at their own 35-yard line.
They'll start by going forward with a pop pass. He's trying to get around the corner, but can't. Going to be run down behind the line. A completion, yes. A loss of yardage, yes as well.
Second and 12 at the 33-yard line.
Yeah, here we go. I take one in. Split it, take.
They go play action. It's Prescott. Escaping the danger, throwing and completing. And they will bring him down on the other side of midfield. Prescott to his main man Lamb. CD gets the Cowboys a first down.
That's just such a tough throw. I mean, that's all arm. Being able to get your body turned and throw back across your body. I mean, it's one thing if you're just throwing it a couple yards to a check down. But in this case, he's still willing and able to push the ball downfield. And there does come some danger when you throw back across. But in this case, it's a big completion. This is one of those situations that plays directly into the hands of the defense, because think, like, they know this offense has to be one-dimensional. This has to be a pass. So what do? They bring in extra defensive backs. They clog up the back end. And at the end of the day, there's just nowhere for the offense to go with the ball.
He'll step up and run, and he'll be taken down as the clock ticks towards 2 minutes to play.
A 2-yard pickup makes it 3rd and 8.
What will they do on this play? Third down, needing 8.
47.
They'll drop to throw. And this one complete on the sideline. Good footwork to stay in bounds, but he is just shy of the first down. And that brings up 4th down.
The best guys I've been around, Mike, they have a sense where they can see the ball, but they can feel the sideline. And that's kind of an innate sense that these guys have that allows them to concentrate and secure the catch and ensuring that both feet remain in bounds.
Here we go. This is 4th down.
Yeah, here we go. I take one in. Split it, take.
From the shotgun, it's Dak. And that is incomplete. They had their chance. They took it there. Look, they're trailing late. Got to let it fly. This will wind up a turnover on downs.
So you roll the dice on offense and you fail. But now you can't give up. Your defense has to go out there and get a stop. You have all 3 timeouts. You have time to get the ball back one more time on offense. So now your defense needs to answer the bell and give your offense one more shot.
70, Timberwolves. Let's go.
They're trying to burn some clock here as they keep it on the ground. And he's down on the other side of midfield. Mark him at the 48-yard line. That run good for a dozen. And a very quick first down.
First down. A gain of 12. First down.
Let's go now. Bronco 80.
They'll run again. It's Tracy again. This time they're ready for it. Room to run the last snap. Not this one. They stop him for no gain.
Well, this play, Mike, was clearly about the job of this defensive line. Great job holding their ground, forcing these blockers to be stood up. Nowhere to go for this running back, and they hold him to no gain.
Ready, right?
On the ground, it's right back to Tracy. He'll manage only about 3, so it will bring up third down. That's a timeout for Dallas. It's their second. Clock stops with 1:06 to go in this one. This crowd into it now as we get to third down. Looking to throw. Richardson. He's got his man. That's down. And he will have the first down. The drive will continue after a pickup of 8.
19, Tiger. Ready.
Only 1 timeout remaining for the defense as they take a knee. So this one, a win for the visiting Colts. They continue their winning ways in the month of September. They're off to a 3-0 start. And that'll do it for my partner, Greg Olson. For our entire team, I'm Mike Tirico. This has been a presentation of the NFL on EA Sports. With that, we say so long, everyone.